My entire Anthurium collection is in need for a little bit of love. I've kind of neglected them over the last few years, really done the bare minimum, which is watering. But overall, I feel like they're not looking their best at the moment. So I would like to look into them, repot them, give them whatever they need. And at the same time, I would like to, well, actually, no, I don't like to. It's actually not a video I ever wanted to make. And yeah, not a nice one to make, but I think it's the right thing to do. So unfortunately, today's video will also be a little bit sad. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are in need for a bit of planty therapy today, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to get my hands dirty, repot some Anthurium, you know, distract myself a little bit. The last 2 weeks have been quite tough. Let's not beat around the bush. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, Bradley passed away. It was unexpected, right? It was cats don't really let you know when things are wrong in the way that dogs do, and or cats don't really know themselves at times, which I think is also a positive to an extent. Now, we found out that he has a genetic heart disease. His heart was enlarged, and as a result of an enlarged heart, the blood flows slower. As a result of that, the blood is more likely to clot, and unfortunately he had a big blood clot that broke off and then traveled from the heart into his legs. And on Monday morning, he was fine, everything was good. I went out to the dentist, and then I caught up with Timmy, and then I went to the gym. And when I came home, I gave him food like normal, but he didn't come downstairs. So I went looking for him, and he was in my office, struggling to get off the chair, then kind of jumped off the chair just using his front legs, and was starting to drag his back legs behind him. And obviously that's not good. So we took him to the emergency vet immediately, and yeah, that's where they then discovered that, you know, it was a blood clot that broke off from a blood clot that's within the heart, and the heart is enlarged. So the underlying issue really is genetic heart disease. So it was very unexpected. He didn't really show any signs of that beforehand. Actually, 2 weeks before that, we went to the vet because he was vomiting a lot. But he also had high temperatures. So we kind of just assumed that he's got a little fever, a little flu. As a result of that, he's just feeling a bit nauseous. He got an anti-nausea injection, and then he was perfectly fine for 2 weeks, until then, out of a sudden, the paralyzed back legs happened. And yeah, so yeah, of course, in hindsight, the vomiting was probably also a result of the heart disease, maybe. Could be completely unrelated, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, it is a disease that you can't cure. There's no way to make it better. You can treat the complications, for example, paralyzed back legs. You can try and release the blood clot and then get blood flow back into the legs, but that comes with other complications like blood toxicity, and then those toxins being flushed through the body, and then that can cause other issues and so on. But at the end of the day, the underlying issue of the enlarged heart can't be fixed. So it will happen again and again and again. So yeah, really the diagnosis. So yeah, it was not at all what I was expecting when we went to the vet that day. It took me a long time to realize that we're not taking him home that day. You know, that was a really shit moment, I have to say. Like, I just didn't, like, even after the vet explained everything to me, it's just like, so am I taking him home today or what? I don't understand. Yeah, it was really shitty to have to make a decision kind of then and there on the spot. And I basically had to choose between hospitalizing him in an attempt to release the blood clot from his legs and then treat the blood toxicity that comes on the back of it. I have a relative who's a vet, so she explained everything a little bit more in detail to me. And yeah, we kind of came to the conclusion that there's no way of giving him life quality back. There's no treatment that we can do to bring back his life quality or bring back the life quality that he had, and that it's only downhill from here. You know, like, even if we manage the issue with the back legs in that moment, it can just happen again and again and again. And the vet's prognosis was that, you know, probably 6 to 9 months of life expectancy if the treatment is successful, like the treatment of the back legs is successful, and the likeliness of that being successful is not very high. So yeah, there was just basically no positive outcome, right? Even if we temporarily fix it, we're just kicking the can further down the road. And that road is a rough one, you know, it's not a road full of joy and all of that. It will be, you know, him potentially not being able to be the cute little independent cat that we all know him to be. I really, really did not want to make this decision. I really wanted to take him home with me, of course, you know. But I also really didn't want to see him suffer, you know. He had such a good life and we had such a good time together. I just didn't want his last memories to be with vets in hospitals on some sort of drip in a cage, you know, having to be carried up the stairs, having to be helped to go to the bathroom and so on. You know, I think that's not necessarily a life that Brett would enjoy living. And I also didn't want those to be my last memories of him. I asked the vet. Oh, fuck. I asked the vet if he's currently in pain, and she said, no, he can't feel anything right now. Or at least he can't feel his legs. There was no pulse going through his legs. There was no reaction to being pinched. There was no, anyway, she did all the measurements. And I asked at what stage he would be in pain if we continue with the treatment. And yeah, she said that if the blood flow goes back to the legs and then the toxins that accumulate in the legs, once those get flushed through the entire body, and that's when really kind of it gets painful. I don't think I could live with that decision if I see him in pain and suffer as a result of it. So yeah, I had to make the decision then and there whether we start the treatment or whether we say goodbye. And we said goodbye. It was like so surreal, right? Because everything was fine that morning. Like, he was sleeping in bed with me. We ran down to make breakfast and coffee. Everything was fine. He had normal appetite. But I suppose that's also positive. He had a really good life up until the last day, even his last day. He was just himself. I just really hate that I wasn't home that day and didn't get to spend his last day with him. I suppose nobody knew. But I don't want this to be a sad video. And actually, I never thought I'd make a video crying on the internet. I don't want to pretend like it didn't happen, right? It happened. He was a big part of this channel. I think a lot of you guys really liked him. I mean, even this morning, I just scrolled through some comments, and like every third or fourth comment mentions Brad. And I've really been avoiding the comment section over the last 2 weeks. But it shows how loved he was by so many people. So I don't want this to be sad. I want this to be a celebration of him and his life and his contribution to the channel and his contribution to my life. They're happy tears, I suppose. More or less. But it's also good to get emotions out. And I'm usually somebody who really keeps their emotions hidden, more internalize it rather than externalize it. But I think in this instance, with Brad being such a huge part of this channel, I think it is just fair to address it. And I think it's also fair towards him. You know, I don't want to sweep it under the rug and be like, oh, okay, out of sight, out of mind, because he's definitely not out of sight, out of mind. I'm sure you guys will miss him too. I know he had I spoke obviously to a lot of friends. I'm really grateful to have a really nice support system. Oh my God. I'm really grateful to have an amazing support system around me that, you know, obviously helped me through it over the last 2 weeks. A lot of people in my circle were also really sad about the news, right? He's not just my little buddy, you know, he was a great companion to many people. A lot of my friends and family were very sad about the news. So, maybe this is better. So I'm sure a lot of you guys will be sad about it as well. And I don't want to kind of withhold this information from you, if that makes sense. On that note, feel free to, you know, leave well wishes for Braddles in the comment section down below. I don't necessarily think there's a cat heaven, but if there was one, Brad would definitely be running it by now. Honestly, I was so prepared for this video. I brought up everything. I didn't think to bring up tissues. If you would like to wish him well, please feel free to do so in the comment section. I will avoid the comment section of this video, but not because I don't appreciate your comments, but because it's gonna make me really sad. But you know, with time, I will start being able to appreciate the messages and appreciate how much he meant to a lot of people. So I will eventually read through all of your messages. I just can't do it straight away. Anyway, let's get started on some of the repotting. So all of my Anthuriums have a layer of moss on top. I will just gently remove that layer of moss to add it back later. But I think all of these need like fundamental repotting. I think a lot of them have suffered through root rot as well. I've been very inconsistent with my watering. They went through a lot of cycles where they dried out a lot, then I absolutely drowned them. I very rarely take them out of their pots. I just watered them in their pots and hoped that it was enough or not too much. So obviously with a very lazy approach, I can't expect the most amazing results, but from my experience, honestly, a little bit of root rot doesn't even hurt them. I don't know. But while I'm here, might as well just give it a bit of a fresh start. Life is short. Let's take some risks, huh? Losing Brad to me was really like losing a family member. He was my favorite person in the world. I know he's not a traditional person as such, but I think he's much better than a person. I prefer animals over humans for sure. And obviously Brad has been my baby. He's been with me for 8.5 years now. We've gone through a lot together. There was a lot of ups and downs in my life over those 8 years, and Brad has been the constant in my life, always by my side, always supportive, always super gorgeous and cute and handsome. So it is just so weird to not have him. It is just so weird from one day to the other not have not feel that little bit of white, you know, on the side of the mattress. Not hear the little sounds he makes. Not hear him stomp down the stairs when it's dinner time. Like these little moments I really, really miss. But I really appreciate the time that we had together. I think he had a good life. I hope he had a good life. He never complained to me, so I assume he did. And I really appreciate what he did for me. And I hope he sees it that way as well. But yeah, it's been rough, I have to say. It's honestly like almost triggering like a bit of a identity crisis. It's just like, I don't really know who I am without Brett by my side. You know what I mean? He was like my sidekick. I've been working from home ever since COVID in 2020, the first lockdown. Irrespective of the different jobs that I had throughout, even in my corporate job back then, I was working from home since February 2020. So that's 6 years now. And then obviously with Sydney Plant Guy, I'm also at home a lot, you know, so we spent so much time together, guys, you know, so much, all day, every day. It's just, a massive loss. Anyway, guys, this old mix, it's actually fine. Honestly, there wasn't even that much root rot, maybe like a few tiny roots and so on. What I'll do is I'll have a big bucket on the side over here. I'll put it all in there, because I do have to do a bit of repotting for some of my plants out on the balcony as well. Especially this one over here. It is very, very sunny. And it's going to get worse as we're approaching into winter. So I need to up-pot a few of these plants out there so they have larger pots with more substrate so that they don't dry out so quickly. So I need substrate. So I will just reuse this on the balcony, right? YOLO. Oh my god. I made a 100 liter tub of aeroid mix. Because I think I'll need a lot of repotting therapy over the next few months. Wow, it looks so good. Juicy. Love it. I actually put a lot of cocoa peat in this one. I've got sent cocoa peat by a company called Highgrow. It looks really good. So I am keen to try that out. A lot of cocoa peat. Let me just show you maybe the texture. Quite a bit of cocoa peat over here so that it has good water retention. So I don't have to water these plants all too much, because you can see it's great for laundry. But out there it's very, very sunny. And as we're going into winter, the sun is going to get lower. So eventually the sun is actually going to beam into this and illuminate this whole wall behind me. Plus we're on the 3rd level, hot air rises. So this will be quite hot even during winter. So I want to have a nice water retentive mix to make sure that these anthuriums don't dry out. They do not appreciate drying out. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that there's good drainage. So there's obviously also a bunch of perlite in there. Right? And then I've got some cocoa chips and bark as chunky components. They create nice kind of, you know, air pockets that these thick aeroid roots really appreciate. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the last 2 weeks have honestly been absolutely crazy. It's been a whirlwind. I don't really feel like myself anymore. I'm sure a lot of you guys have gone through the loss of a pet before. I've had pets before as well as a teenager. I had rabbit and guinea pigs. And I do remember it was very sad when my first rabbit died. And of course, Brett's brother also died, unfortunately. He died in a car accident. He ran across the street and unfortunately got hit by a car. And that was a long time ago already. I think almost 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago already. So I was very, very sad when Max died. But I feel like I had Brett to help me through that loss. Whereas now, with the loss of Brett, I don't have a little 4-legged friend to help me through it. So I spent a lot of time with Bailey, Tim's dog, over the last 2 weeks as well. Because, I don't know, I just really, really enjoy the company of animals. And that was quite nice. And she came to visit and explore the house and so on, things that she wasn't able to do before because Brett and her didn't get along so well. Should probably actually look at the leaves. I'm so, you know what, also today I have just absolutely no tolerance for ugly leaves. So if something's not amazing, has like this sort of fungal issues, bye. You know what I mean? Honestly, who cares about a leaf? Who cares about a leaf? I often get messages from people as well, even saying that bread reminds them of one of their late cats. This one definitely had lots of root rot. Look at that. Oops. I will still use this outside. Honestly, why not? I reckon if he could see me cry like that, he'd roll his eyes and be like, oh my God, why are you so sad? My mom is funny. When I told her, because she's met Brett a few times as well, when I told her, she's obviously very upset about it. And I said to her, it's like, oh, you know, time heals. And she said, stop lying to yourself. You know exactly that this gap in your heart isn't going to be filled by time. Go and get yourself a new kitty. And I definitely will at some stage look at adopting another friend. But it is too early at the moment. You know, I don't want to just replace him that quickly. Brett is irreplaceable in the first place. I actually feel sad for the cat that I might adopt. Because yeah, that cat is going to have big shoes to fill. And yes, definitely one day I would love to give another four-legged friend a new home. Because I do think I have a lot of love to give. I really love animals, and there's a lot of cats in not so nice situations. And you know, I have a nice home to offer. I have a lot of love to give. And I think there would be a cat that is really appreciative of that. And I'd be appreciative of the cat's company. But all in due course, I'm not rushing into something over here. It's only been 2 weeks and I still need to process the loss first, I think. I think the first few days were just really weird. It just felt like a dream, like not a good dream, like a nightmare. And then eventually it kind of really hit me. I don't think I can give every plant like a massive pot. Right? Maybe I'll also try root pruning. I've never tried that before, but I heard good things. Maybe I don't try root pruning. Maybe I'll just go ahead. I don't even know what this plant is at the moment. Actually, with my Anthuriums, I lost interest at some stage. Not because they're not pretty, but I don't know. They just weren't really thriving for me. Which obviously then in turn, once I lost interest and I stopped caring for them properly, they did even worse. So I think it's time to step it up a little bit again. And I think a good reset would be good for that. Well, honestly, most importantly, I just want to get my hands dirty today. It's kind of like my main priority. Yeah, I still need to process what happened first. You know, it all happened so quickly. And like, I mean, bloody hell, I'm editing videos and he's meowing in the background in these videos. I still have so much footage of him and he's just so cute in all these videos. Like, editing videos over the last 2 weeks has been very, very hard, I have to admit. Filming videos was quite fun though, or not fun, but it's been a good distraction. The plant hobby, this job, you guys, my YouTube channel, was a great distraction. You know, I can't just sit there and like dwell in my own misery. I do need to, you know, if I do things, I definitely get distracted and feel better about things. So in that sense, it's been really nice to have the plant hobby, have the YouTube channel to distract me. But it is weird filming without him. It's weird to not just have him sitting there next to me, you know, stealing my chair when I get up and so on. So that will take a little while to get used to. Anyway, the other thing that I am very grateful for is that I have plenty of distraction coming up over the next few months, which is going to be good. Wrong one. So I have 1 coffee, 1 electrolyte. Charleston is coming up in 2 weeks. Like today, in 2 weeks' time, it's actually the Expo. So that will be really good because it is nice getting out of the house. Hang on, are we gonna do all of them? I think we're just gonna literally do all of them, hey? See how we go. it will be good to get out of the house, you know, be distracted by, oh my god, crazy root rot. Look at this. You can really see how brown these roots are. But despite root rot, it's alive, hey. I think most of them just survive based on the roots in that layer of moss on top. Maybe I should just do more. Nah, not today. So yeah, it will be really nice to be somewhere brand new. There's going to be lots of people there as well. I'm anxious, of course, about going there. I'm anxious about most things, you know. Not anxious, it's just like whenever there's a new experience, I always think about the worst case scenarios, and hopefully I'm not going to disappoint anybody, and I need to do a masterclass. Hopefully I do a good job at doing the masterclass and so on, you know. So I have plenty of distraction, you know, even some of the distraction is kind of like worries and anxiety and so on. At least it is a little bit of variety, you know. At least I'm not just sad all the time. Sometimes I'm also anxious. How good is that? And obviously, as you can tell, my way of grieving and my coping mechanism is very humorous, I suppose. Actually looks like there's rot in there. Can you see it there? The middle bit is like kind of black and rotten. I only kept the roots that were kind of in the moss, I suppose. And then I'll probably just cut off this leaf as well, so that it's ugly and it has one less thing to support. Let me just keep this on the side, and then we can work on that later. The mix, however, I will definitely use on the balcony. What I'll do is with all of this, and then, I don't know, this is not a tutorial, and I don't know, it just always worked for me, but if you avoid about it, then don't do it. But what I'll do is I'll just, you know, I put it all in this box over there, and then I'll pop the box in the sun, and hopefully the UV can kill a little bit of whatever's wrong with this mix. But obviously, I mean, the plant is still alive, so it can't be that bad. Also doesn't look the healthiest. But I'm also really excited to meet a bunch of people over there. A lot of you guys, you know. It's always really nice when we get to talk. Now, I feel like we're gonna talk a lot about Bradley. But it's also a nice thing that we get to talk about him, and that so many people want to talk about him and know him. And, you know, like, it's a nice thing. I don't want to pretend like his life didn't exist just because I'm sad that he passed away, you know. So feel free to talk to me about him if you feel the need to, but don't make me cry, okay? But no, I mean, there's gonna be Kylie. We've been chatting a lot, and it will be really nice to finally meet Kylie in person. There's Ginny from Plant Hall, who I haven't seen now in ages. I think last time I saw her was in Miami, and we had the best time. Nat from Growth Technology, who I visited in Perth at the end of last year. Then obviously Johnny, the bearded plantaholic, who I haven't seen in maybe 2 years now as well. We got along brilliantly when he was in Australia. These are all of just the ones that are flying in, but then obviously there's a lot of people in America that I would also like to meet and talk to and chat to. And the organizers themselves seem so nice, and I love the community spirit that they've got. So, you know, I think it will actually be a really good time, and I'll just need to get over my bloody anxiety and just enjoy the moment. And I think it will be a really good distraction for me that I really need, right? Because if I'm always just at home, I'm constantly reminded of Brad not being here. So it will be good to get... What is this? What the hell is this? This is Serenoi, by the way. Quite clearly, this is not really a plant video, guys. I don't know if... if you've noticed, but plants are not the main focus right now. Well, they are kind of, but it's just more about the act of planting rather than the species of plant. Oh my god, I have so many bloody Anthuriums. Let's maybe do all the small ones first, so I kind of get them out of the way. Wow, they all look so sad. Everything looks so sad. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if I want to know. Oh wow, okay, this is pure rot. What the hell happened? As I mentioned, I dropped the ball on these ages ago, probably even before the move, and then the move definitely did not help
Yeah, I have no recollection what this even is. But it doesn't look good. It's firm though, but let's also cut this. Yeah, definitely a little bit of rot involved.
Yeah, can you see this? It just looks a little, that you can see this black bit, and then you can just see that it looks a little bit like manky and so on. I don't know what it is, which also means I can't really miss it. So I think I'm just gonna say goodbye, right? I mean, I've done worse goodbyes recently. Like,
it's so weird, like it has like a healthy root here, you know, but the actual stem has already shriveled up and is rotten.
I just don't think it will ever really grow into something nice. And if it does, it will take 3 years. And life is too short for this at the moment, okay?
But hey, on a positive note, see guys, shit happens. But on a positive note, look at me, I also struggle
with the basics, like rot.
You know, that's what it is. It's plants, occupational hazard. Anyhow, and then obviously more travels in June, and then a trip to Germany in July. And I'm hoping to then maybe, after I come back from holidays, to see if the cat distribution system would love to assign a new cat to me, if I feel like it. And I don't think Brad would be mad at me for doing that. I think Brad would happily share this palace with a new cat, right? Maybe in August when I come back from holidays and I can actually spend a bit of time with a new family member. I would love to. You have fucking three, yeah? Yep, you also have thrips, that's great. So we'll all go outside and get a little treatment later. I'll just use contender spray, which obviously doesn't work, but at least I'm trying. Can you see this thrip there? Maybe not. It's teeny tiny, but yeah, if you have a little new leaf coming out like that and it's already deformed, it's most likely some pest issue. Hey, that's great. That explains so much. In general, I think I had a lot of thrips issues with these, and I've just not been diligent enough to really stay on top of it. And hence this. But watch this space, maybe in a year's time, these look absolutely stunning. And then we can look back at this video and be like, look at me turning this around. Anyway, I was saying that, yeah, my mom was like, just get another cat, you know, Brad wouldn't be mad at you if you get a cat really quickly after. And so she's like, oh, you know, I think it makes sense to wait till after my holiday. And yeah, she obviously agreed. And then she told me the story of how we adopted our first pet, which was a rabbit. And she basically said it was kind of like a spontaneous decision. I was, I think, 11 at the time, and I always wanted a pet, and my parents never wanted me to have a pet. So I finally convinced my mom to, you know, let's go to this shop. It was called Happy Fish, and they mainly had aquarium stuff, but they also had a little rabbit there. And I was so sad about seeing the rabbit in that cage and, you know, living in this like sad environment and so on. I was just like, Mom, we have to adopt the rabbit. And she wanted to go back home and contemplate it. And I said to her, no, this rabbit is perfect. I want this rabbit. I don't want any other rabbit but this one. And then I said to her, and think about it. If we go back home and contemplate it, the rabbit has to spend another day of his life in this sad environment at this pet shop somewhere in Saarbrücken. Whereas if we take him home today, then he already gets to enjoy a day with us, and we already get a day to enjoy with him or her, them. To be honest, I don't remember if my first rabbit was a him or her. I remember the name was Happy because of the pet shop called Happy Fish. These leaves are not very healthy. Oh my god! Oh! Surely now we can see the thrips. I mean, this is like a whole party. I think the thrips came to Brettle's funeral. Anyway, I said to my mom, the earlier we take the rabbit home, the earlier the rabbit can spend some time with us, and the earlier we can spend some time with the rabbit. So the more time we get to enjoy together. She's pretty smart as a bloody 11-year-old, you know. But really, I was just trying to manipulate my mom into buying me the rabbit right now. I didn't want any excuses, you know. I didn't want to go home and be like, because once you're home, it's much easier to say no. But then when you're looking at that cute little rabbit's face. Anyway, she told me that story and it made me laugh a little bit, you know. I was like, yeah, I've always been like this. Which is good to know, you know. Ooh, looks like we have one healthy root over here, but the top doesn't look healthy, so let's look into this. That is so crazy. It's really smart to just slide them all there together and then not know which ones they are, if they're the same or different. But to be honest, I don't even really know what they are right now, so I think most of them are crazy rubbish. This one is not a crazy rubbish. This one is, I think, a square heart. It's crazy because it has roots, but just no leaves. At least we're getting a lot of substrate for the balcony. Okay, I think we're getting into the territory where the plants don't look horrible anymore. I don't know, I feel like the Anthuriums look like I feel. Just a little deflated, a little sad, a little rotten on the inside, but trying to put on a nice front. Anyway, I mean, this video is already extremely derailed from my normal content. Yep, okay, definitely a little bit of rot in here as well. Yay! At least we're consistent, huh? Let's derail the video completely, because I mean, by now, if you don't want to listen to me talk, surely you have logged off. You know, when you lose somebody that is so close to you, it obviously makes you contemplate life a little bit. And I have been contemplating life a lot as well. And I need to really work a little bit on myself, I think. In the sense that I think I often don't appreciate the moment too much, you know. I always say to you guys, enjoy the journey of growing plants. And I do enjoy the journey of growing plants. But I also need to apply that to my life. I need to enjoy the journey of life, you know. And not just wait for, the next holiday. Or wait for this to be over because I'm worried about what could go wrong and so on. So, you know, as much as it is a really sad thing that happened to me, hopefully it can really, like, you know, show me what's important to me in life and make me reevaluate my priorities and so on. And I think to an extent I got some confirmation that I'm actually already on the right track. How do I explain that without being like the whingiest little on earth? First of all, I want to acknowledge that there's people with real problems in life, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever problem I have is always just bitching and moaning on a really high level. I've had a beautiful life. I have a beautiful life. I've had a beautiful childhood. I have a beautiful support system. I live in a beautiful country. I have a job that I genuinely enjoy. I live a good bloody life. Do not get me wrong. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that would love to live a life like I do. I just need to start actually appreciating it fully. And I do appreciate it a lot, but I think I don't appreciate it as much as I could appreciate it. And I think I need to stop thinking so much and live a little more, you know. Sometimes I'm really jealous of those people who can just put all of their worries aside and not care about what people say and so on. I'm just so not like that. I don't really know. You know what, guys? I don't really know what I'm saying or what I don't want. I don't really know what I'm trying to say over here. I think my brain is just a little bit fried right now. I think what I'm trying to say is that life is short. Live, you know, and don't live in your head. Live it actively. Take on these opportunities. There's so many opportunities that I've been presented with over the last few years that I decline because I'm too nervous or too anxious to say yes, you know, or because I have so much, imposter syndrome that I think, oh, no, I reckon they emailed me by accident and so on. I need to stop this thinking, you know, and actually just appreciate that I was asked to attend, appreciate that I was invited to something, appreciate the moment and not just appreciate it afterwards once I've got confirmation that everything went okay. Appreciate failure, you know? Like, I need to just get a little bit better at that and stop being such a little whiny. My moods have been so volatile, and I suppose that's also normal as part of grief, right? Isn't it like the 7 stages of grief you go through? You're sad, then you're angry, mad, confused, all of these things, you know? So I went through all of it and back again and back and forth and left, right and center, you know? So done it all. And, you know, it made me realize that sometimes I think also I censor myself too much. I'm so worried about what other people say, you know, like, or have to say, or could potentially say. I'm so worried about what this anonymous person might have to say in the comment section of my Instagram reel that I kind of censor myself a little bit to an extent. And that is just so stupid. You will never be able to please everybody. I saw a video yesterday on Instagram, and it was this lady saying like, hey, in case you're worried about what other people say, just remember that you can never please anybody. There are waterfalls on Iceland with 1-star reviews. And then she proceeded to showing like the reviews on Google Maps of the waterfall. And there were people reviewing it as like a 1 star. It was too wet. It's like, it was so loud, I couldn't really think. The photo on Google showed that there was a rainbow, but when I got there, there was no rainbow. 1 star, would not recommend. Like people are, it's just a waterfall. It's literally water falling from a rock. I don't understand the attraction. Like, you know, it was like, wow, okay, if a bloody waterfall in Iceland gets a 1-star review, obviously some people will review me with a 1 star. Like, no way am I better than a bloody rainbow. No way am I better than a waterfall in Iceland, right? And yeah, I think I need to work on that for sure. You know, just not let the stupid people kind of bring me down and my mood and so on, but rather focus on the people that actually want to hear from me, that and so on. And I think we've talked about this before. It's not like a new concept. And if you watch all of my live updates and so on, sometimes I do get a little bit more vulnerable. I only get vulnerable further into the video because I know by then only the cool people are still left, you know. But yeah, I think Brett's passing has definitely just reinvigorated that in me, or like reconfirmed that to me, that, you know what, life is so short. Things like that can happen to humans as well, you know, it can happen to anybody at any time. Stop wasting your life by being in your head about everything. Just do it. I think so many people online are just performative. You get called out for things that are actually just normal. There's another thing that I saw the other day that I also thought was really, really impactful. It was something like, people don't enjoy being right as much as they enjoy telling you that you're wrong. Right? And it's such an internet thing where, yeah, people will find anything to complain about, like anything. Like the other day I saw a video of this guy, I think everybody's probably seen this video, it has millions of views. It's like this guy who's holding like the cutest little golden retriever baby, like literally like a baby, and the golden retriever is just there with like all 4 paws looking into the eye, and they're having like a really cute bonding moment. And the first comment is like, oh my god, your dog is so afraid of him, stop staring at him like that. I'm like, oh my god, the dog is literally like half asleep. The dog is in love with that guy, and people will still just find something to complain about. Those are probably the same people that aren't actually all too worried about how scared maybe a pig is in a slaughterhouse and so on. And yes, I won't hold back on my vegan opinions this time around. People don't care about the dog in that moment, you know. People also don't care about, they don't care, obviously. What they really care about is they wanted to show superiority by saying, hey, you're actually wrong and I'm right. Look at that. Look at me telling you that you're wrong. Look at me telling you off. And I get that all the time with plants. People tell me how to grow my plants. People tell me what to do with my plants. People definitely tell me what not to do with my plants. People tell me I'm so wrong in what I do and that I shake them. And these people used to really get to me, you know. I really hate that. Like, I'm such a people pleaser. But I need to stop letting these people get to me because, hang on, what do I need? Oh my god, I have so many plants. I don't have enough pots. I kind of forgot to pot them up. I just laid them out over there. I suppose some of them were also cut, so maybe the cut can color us over a little bit. Are we currently having like 3 conversations at the same time? I think so, right? Welcome to my brain. Let me make a bit of room. I will take them all outside for watering, but right now the entire balcony is in full sun, so I gotta wait a little bit. I think a lot of these are crazy rubbish. Oh shit, yeah, I think these were all crazy rubbish. You know what, let's just put them all back together. See if they even want to leave. And if they want to leave, then we can always give them a bigger pot at some stage. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Brad's passing has definitely just reconfirmed a few kind of like thought processes I already had. A few kind of the trajectory that was already on, and the trajectory is kind of like stop caring so much about what other people say, because you can't really please everybody anyway, and just do what makes you actually happy, what feels authentic to you. Stop worrying so much about other people and live your life a little bit, you know. Oh, I don't really feel like giving this plant a... These roots also don't look so healthy after all. Actually, they do look okay. Maybe I will give it a bigger pot. Remember, it's going to get hot, water retention, bigger pot, more water retention. Let's go. Do I have clean pots? No. Am I going to use them? Yes. Anyway, let's talk about something positive. Community. Oh my God, guys, you have absolutely wowed me. A few weeks ago, I told you that I'm opened up the community on my YouTube channel, right? Basically, if you go on my channel, there's like a tab called Community, and over there, it's no longer just me being able to post. Everybody can post. So if you have been a subscriber for at least 1 week, you can go ahead and share a post on there. And so many of you have shared your beautiful plant collections, also your struggles, and you guys have started helping each other. Again, I've kind of really been avoiding comment sections or like my YouTube studio at large over the last 2 weeks because I'm too worried about reading too many Braddle's comments and kind of like them catching me off guard. But I've definitely browsed through the community posts and just saw a lot of community interaction. And this is exactly what it's all about. You know, it's about you guys communicating with each other. I will definitely also jump in there eventually. I would love to maybe make a video and react to all of your community posts, something like that. And I really love to see how many people come together in my community. That is honestly, that was really meaningful to see. That was really beautiful to see. And it gives me that sort of confirmation that, you know what, you're doing well. It's fine. You know what I mean? You're bringing people together. I really, really enjoyed that. Wow, these roots look horrible. Were they that horrible, or did I just let them dry out? How long has it been? What do you mean you don't have thrips? Crazy. Other news, I got nominated as Creator of the Year. Is it Creator of the Year? I think, yeah. People's Choice Creator of the Year from Better Homes and Gardens. I spoke to my housemate about it the other day because he had a corporate event and they won the award. And I was like, oh, award winning? And he's like, yeah, but you're award winning too. And I was like, no, actually, I have never won an award. Or well, not as Sydney Plant Guy. Have I won an award as me? Yes, I did. I have definitely won an award as myself. Like, as a you know what I mean? Anyway, and he's like, really? What? Oh my God, hang on, I'm repotting. Jeez, I get distracted. And he's like, really? You've never won an award? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Never did. I don't think we have these sort of awards, and if they are, I don't think I'd be considered. And then literally it came through like a month later that I've been nominated and been selected as a finalist. Now the voting is already closed, but I posted about it, so I think a bunch of you have already voted for me, so thank you so much in advance. And honestly, it's one of these things where, okay, good example. When that came through, my first thought process was, oh, it's really nice to be nominated, but what if I don't win? What if I post about it and people vouch for me to win and people really want me to win and then I don't win? you know? Don't I look stupid then, you know, for asking people to vote for me and then I didn't get it? Whereas if somebody else would ask me to vote for them so that they potentially could get it, I would never think that about them, you know what I mean? So instantly, instead of just being grateful for being nominated, my brain turned it into a negative, being like, okay, well, if you're nominated, it also means you can lose. Instead of like, if you're nominated, you can win. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I need to actively catch, you know, when I catch these sort of thought processes going through my brain, I need to actively catch them and be like, no, not today, yeah? Or tomorrow, not ever, actually. So, and to be honest, verbalizing these things with you guys, with the camera, it's obviously good to talk to friends as well, but there's something about verbalizing it to the camera, knowing that a lot of people on the internet will see this, is what makes me really think these things through. Because I don't want to say the wrong thing to. It honestly really helps me. I know you guys can't talk back, but I do get so much value out of these sort of catch-ups with you. And I get a lot of value out of reading your comments as well. And, you know, you guys are so encouraging. You believe more in me than I believe in myself. And it's really, really nice to see. And then it's obviously really nice to be nominated. And I will find out if I won on the 2nd of May. They have like a little awards show in Sydney, which I will attend. And then I can let you know afterwards if I won it or not. What is this? I am also trying, I really am trying to be a better influencer, okay? I'm trying to share a little bit more of my day-to-day growth updates and so on my Instagram stories. You know, I have so many beautiful leaves pushing out at any moment. So yeah, I've been uploading a few more stories on my Instagram. You know, just showing you new leaves here and there, showing you what I get up to and so on. I definitely want to dive into a little bit more of like an aesthetically driven interior design category as well. Obviously plants will always be the star, right? Like I'll do interior design with plants. So, you know, I want to show a little bit more about that and like, you know, so on. And I've done it in my YouTube videos as well, you know, where I talk about my apartment. I don't just talk about the plants. I talk about like my design philosophy behind why I chose certain plants, why I set things up the way that I set things up and so on. And I really enjoy that and I want to get better at it. So follow me on there if you have Instagram as well. I wish YouTube had like a... YouTube is very like formal, not formal, but you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I film a video, I edit it, and then I release it like a week or 2 weeks later or so on. It's not so instant, whereas Instagram, almost like it has it in its name, it's like instant. It's so much easier to give you little updates of, oh my God, look at what arrived in the post today, look at what I'm doing, look at the, like when I go for runs through the neighborhood, I want to upload more stories of beautiful plants that I just find on the side of the road and so on, you know? So just a little bit more like sharing with my life. So if you are into something like that, like I would love for you to come along on my Instagram account, which is actually never linked in the description. I'll try and remember to link it in the description, but it's just Sydney Plant Guy as well, so you can just search for me. I'm trying my best. I think like people like Plants by Crystal, which I absolutely love. I think she is such a good creator, you know, such a good influencer. I just feel like I'm so bad at creating content. I'm good at plants, but I'm not good at like sharing my plants with you outside of YouTube videos. YouTube videos is like long form YouTube videos is literally like the only thing I really enjoy doing. Not saying that I'm good at it, but I enjoy doing them and I'm consistent at doing them. With everything else, I kind of just dropped the ball. But this year I'm getting back into it. I'm taking it more seriously. I'm like, let's do it. Let's see if I can actually get it done. Let's not be in my head about it. And yes, I'm saying this for the 800th time now. Yeah, that was good. No issues with that. In my last update, I have also asked you guys if you'd be interested in coming along on my German adventure a little bit. And a lot of you said, yes, you would love to see Germany through my eyes. I am actually finalizing the plan a little bit. started looking at what do I want to see, who do I want to meet, because obviously my main priority is friends and family over there, but my friends and family are also not all in the same town, so I'm going to travel around a little bit. I will take you along a little bit. It's just going to be like one overall vlog, I think, but it looks so picturesque from what I've seen. I haven't traveled much in Germany myself, right? Kind of just moved to Australia straight after high school and never really experienced a lot of Germany's beauty. So it's just going to be like a little sightseeing vlog. It's going to be the middle of summer, so we'll have long days. So that will be fun. But yeah, I'm actually really, really excited about that. Alrighty, what have we got here? At least I stopped crying, huh? Okay, thrips. You know what, actually, I mean, I do need to treat it with thrips, but at this stage I can't even really be asked to treat the leaves, especially if they're already kind of ugly in the first place. I mean, there's a new one coming here. It can't be too unhappy. Do you have thrips though? Probably. And inflow can definitely go. Wow, this has such an interesting smell. Definitely root rot, but it doesn't smell like root rot at all. Oh, this one I don't even have visibility of, so it can only mean bad things. Yep, that sounds like root rot to me. It's weird, you know, like root rot is still a mystery to me 6 years into this journey. I mean, not like a mystery, but you know, sometimes I feel like you have root rot and the plant just dies as a result of it, or really like suffers very quickly as a result of it. I reckon this probably had root rot its whole life. It just lives with root rot. It has like a symbiotic relationship with root rot at this stage, you know what I mean? Where like people always make it sound like, oh my god, root rot is the worst thing that could possibly happen to your plant, when kind of quite clearly this plant, a lot of them had root rot and are still alive. Not thriving, definitely not, but they're still capable of growing new thrips, new leaves, despite root rot. They have thrips and root rot and they're throwing out new leaves. Like, that's crazy. Imagine how beautiful they could look if they wouldn't have thrips and root rot. Let's see if we can get back to that state. That would be fabulous. Okay, let's see if I need to cut anything off. I'm also not, you know, like so many people are like, oh, once you have root rot, sterilize it, dunk it in here, spray this. I'm just gonna pot it up, no? Can't be that bad, can it? It hasn't killed the plant by now. It sure as hell won't kill it anytime soon, I reckon. Hopefully, maybe. Maybe I should. Just don't follow what I'm doing today, right now. Actually, I'm not very good at growing plants once they're off a moss pile, I feel like. Oh my god, you look horrible. Shit, that wasn't even the thrips leaves. At least now it is small enough to fit in a smaller pot. Yay! And you know, with the way that I display my Anthuriums in the shelf behind me, I also don't need every Anthurium to be like the biggest Anthurium you've ever seen in your life. You know, I'd rather have each Anthurium grow one beautiful leaf than having 20 shit leaves. What have I decided to do with this? That looks good. Ah, look at this one! We've got a little Discoria in this pot. You know what? I'll just put it right back in. There you go. Oh, maybe I'll kill it by then. What is this? Definitely noticed that like the top layer of roots is much healthier, the ones that are grown in moss, whereas the roots that have grown in aeroid mix are not so healthy. So that, and not just with this plant, with all of them, maybe I should just, if I had enough moss, I would just grow all of them in just moss maybe, huh? Seem to be doing well with moss, nothing else. And I've had plenty of plants in aeroid mix that are also thriving, so it's definitely not, it definitely has nothing to do with the mix, but has everything to do with the way that I treated them. and the way that I watered them, which was inconsistent and not good enough. Not good enough. Do you have thrips actively or just in the past? Or maybe both? Can you see how it has like pyramid triangular shaped petioles? You are a new leaf, huh, aren't you? Gorgeous. Oh, got to put this back in, huh? Whoop. I mean, some of them are a little bit messed up, but this one is actually, Luxuriance has kind of done the best. So let's have a look. Girl. Good thing is the mix feels very warm, all of them. It's because they got a little bit of morning sun earlier. I was waiting for the morning sun to disappear, which is great news, right? Because you don't want the roots to get cold. Cold and wet, rot. Now don't think this is rot that was introduced here. I think that was rot that has been there for a while. I mean in most of them. I think this one in particular doesn't actually show any signs of rot. So it looks quite healthy. That's why I'm being so incredibly gentle on the root system. I feel like the older roots are a little bit on the not so healthy side, but the new roots look very healthy. So I think if it wasn't for that pile of moss on top of all of my anthuriums, I wouldn't have any anthuriums left. Now, I do think this should probably go in a pot bigger than this, yes. Oh my god, I need to get another bucket. The bucket down there is already full. Is this too big? No, perfect. Okay. I do like a good see-through pot because it will help me assess root health and water requirements and so on. But quite clearly, I didn't really take advantage of that with most of my anthuriums anyway, because I just too lazy to take them out of the planter. I just watered them right there, like this. Don't even take them out of the planter to assess the water requirement anyway. I judge it based on the layer of moss on top. If the moss is dry, I water. If the moss is not dry, I do not water. But quite clearly that technique isn't working all too well for me, so don't copy that, yeah? I think maybe I need to get a little bit more perlite as well. The bottom of the bin is definitely extra water retentive. Makes sense, the smaller components fall to the bottom of the bin, right? I fully forgot about my coffee. Ugh, there was air out mix in the straw. I am back with a big smile on my face because I just went downstairs to get a little bit more perlite for my mix and bumped into my neighbor's doggo. It's kind of like an old version of Bailey. Her name is Charlie, she's 12, and she just gave me some major cuddles. Major cuddles. Honestly, I just love animals. It was good having a chat to AJ yesterday because AJ is the same. Like, she just loves pets so much. Like, way more than she loves humans, and I very much understand. Anyway. This one seems to be doing the best actually at this stage, so let's hope it stays that way. This newest one is pretty, huh? Delta Force. Looks like she has very healthy roots actually. Very healthy roots. But I would love to look into it regardless. Look at these roots. Looks very healthy. You know what? That's just it. But the moss on top looks a little bit manky. So let me just add a little bit more moss on top. Oh well, maybe I'm not a total failure. Yay. It is growing a new leaf over here, so I'm not too sure if I should look into the pot or not. Because I don't necessarily want to disturb this leaf. And all the other leaves actually look quite healthy as well, right? So, and it's growing a massive inflow actually. So
You know what? I'm just gonna trust the process over here and believe that this leaf is just a sign of something good, but I can definitely top up the moss a little bit. Also a new leaf over here, and it's looking pretty thick. But this leaf is a little bit annoying. Also, this gives the plant a massive spread. So now it is much more manageable. This leaf is also not the prettiest. This one is okay, but this one looks promising. So let's keep it that way. But roots don't look the best, to be honest. Actually, it looks pretty good. What am I talking about? But I want to repot it. Yeah, actually the roots are not healthy. I hope I'm not going to cause too much damage to that new leaf, but there'll be new ones after that. No! When did that happen? It will just constantly remind me of my failures. You could have been such a beautiful leaf. That's okay. Also, I think the plant needs to... I was so deep in thoughts. I went a bit crazy on this root system. So I think the plant should just focus back on the roots anyway. So leaves come and go. In this instance, it went. Last one. Actually, not last one. There's one downstairs as well. Just one, but it counts. Also a new leaf. Also, don't remember what this one is. And actually, this one has healthy roots. Am I gonna do... I think I'm gonna do nothing here because it does have healthy roots. Look at it. I think it looks good. I do want to give it more moss on the top. Look at it. It has healthy roots. At least it looks like these roots are really healthy. And I do need to learn from my mistakes. I just messed up the other leaf already. So let's not do this again. But I want to give it a more moss. Let me head downstairs to get more moss. And then also I have another Anthurium downstairs that I want to repot. Oh, here we are. Beauty. And then this one is actually downstairs because I've got a nice shelf. This is Vita. I figured it would have bad root rot because it hasn't grown. I don't think it's grown a new leaf in like a year or so. So let's look into it. Triple-headed, by the way. Yeah, so if like the top half comes out like this and you have all of this. Why am I so horrible at growing Anthurium suddenly? This was not suddenly. This has been a long time in the making. Wow, how are you alive, plant? Where are your roots? Okay, the stem seems firm. It's good. So I'm gonna try something different, but I need to wait for these cuts to callus over. And that will take a little while, so we won't do that in today's video. And then one last one I want to show you. This one comes from my IKEA cabinet. It's just there. Look at this new Vita leaf, still inflating. It's looking incredible, especially compared to this one that was the one before that. Now this definitely has a lot of condensation, but it has a very, very healthy root system. I looked into it the other day. So I know I don't need to repot it, but it is outgrowing the IKEA cabinet, so I'll move it out of the cabinet and put it onto the shelf as well. So I'll also take it outside and spray it. Don't need to water it, I just want to spray it to make sure it is clean. Although it looks very healthy, very clean. But yes, you get to go in with everybody else now. Now I have a few baby Anthuriums in the cabinet, but that's gonna be a whole nother video. I need to do something about the cabinet. Just this one that I'm actually moving out, I'm gonna show you today. I need to clean up badly. I'm feeling so anxious about all of this mess around me. I need to clean up badly. Badly, badly, badly. Then half of my balcony is now
getting a little bit of shade. So I'll move the couch out of the way and then put all of the Anthuriums there, water them in thoroughly, give them a spray of contender spray, at least the ones where I saw thrips, but maybe if I have enough, I'll just spray all of them. And then I'll see you back when it comes to filling the shelf behind me. You are actually like wedged on my railing, and look at all of this stuff around me, everywhere. Everywhere. Help. So let me clean up all of this, water the plants, let them drain, and we'll see each other in, I don't know, an hour or so when we put them back. Alrighty, and they're all back. I think you get a much better view of them without the bench in front of it. Maybe this area over here isn't really looking its best. I think over here would be nice to maybe have some taller Anthuriums, but you know what? For now, I'm glad I got on top of them. Let them re-establish, let them rebuild a root system, let them grow a few nice leaves, and then I can try to perfect the sort of setup anyway. For now, let's just see how they react to the actual repotting, you know. It's obviously quite harsh today. Anyway, I'm actually really glad I got this done, and obviously my brain was all over the shop in this video. It's really nice to spend a bit of time with my plants. This hobby is definitely very therapeutic to me. Talking to you guys is also very therapeutic to me, so thanks for listening. I think over the next few months, you know, I'll go through lots and ups and downs, and I think that will also be reflected in my YouTube videos. You know, I like to be pretty honest with you guys, and you know, I do film 2 videos a week, so if I'm not in the best mindset, that will definitely show in the videos, but that's also okay. You know, it's not about faking that everything is fine when it's not. Recently, things have been working out quite well for me. I've been really happy. I've had lots of successes, and I love sharing those with you, but it's also nice that I can share the bad times. And hopefully the bad times won't stay bad, you know, hopefully over time and through talking about it, I get less and less sad about him not being here anymore, and I get more and more appreciative of the 8 years that we did get to spend together. Anyway, I'm sure it won't be the last time we talk about little baby Brett. He's gonna live on in my memory, hopefully your memory. He's definitely going to live on through all of the beautiful videos that we filmed over the last 4 years. So, you know, that will be nice. He'll make his appearances in videos here and there, which will obviously a little bit, you know, hard to edit, but I'm glad that through all of the videos, through all of the footage that I have, he gets to live on this channel. It's time to say goodbye, and hopefully next time I'll see you, it's on a more positive note. Thanks for listening, and hopefully see you soon.